Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I should be further ahead by now? You scroll through social media. Everyone seems to be winning. They're building businesses, traveling, crushing goals. And you're stuck, overthinking, doubting, tired of trying. You ask yourself, what's wrong with me? But here's the truth no one tells you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just human, and you're not alone. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, over 60% of young adults in the US feel like they're falling behind in life. 60%. Take a moment to really let that sink in. Most people around you are silently struggling, smiling on the outside, drowning on the inside, pretending they're okay, when deep down, they feel like failures. Have you failed recently? Maybe you tried your best and it still didn't work out. Maybe you're tired of starting over. But what if I told you that your failure isn't the end? What if it's the beginning? Because failure isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you how failure can actually be your biggest blessing. Not just some cliche speech, but real, honest truths backed by psychology, lived by people like you, and the mindset shift that will change how you see failure forever. So don't click away. If you've ever felt stuck, behind, or lost in life, this might be the video that shifts everything. You see, it's easy to look at failure and think it's a sign that we're not good enough. It's easy to feel like we've hit a dead end. But here's something you need to understand. Failure is the test that separates those who quit from those who rise. It's the scar that reminds you you're still alive. And here's something that may surprise you. Most successful people failed their way to the top. Need proof? Steve Jobs, fired from his own company. J.K. Rowling, rejected by 12 publishers. Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team. Every time they failed, they had a choice, quit or keep going. And every time they chose to rise. Not because they were lucky, not because they were special, but because they had learned something that most people don't understand. Failure isn't final. It's a lesson, a guide, a push forward. But here's the catch. You won't see that lesson if you're too busy hating on yourself. Have you been there? That moment where you failed, and instead of learning, you just felt like you weren't enough? That's where most people stop. They tell themselves, maybe this isn't for me. But listen to this. Psychological studies show that our brains are hardwired to learn from failure more than success. When you fail, your brain starts looking for patterns. It processes mistakes. That's when real growth happens. So think about this. What if your failures weren't actually mistakes at all? What if they were necessary stepping stones, guiding you to become the person you were always meant to be? I know it feels painful in the moment. It feels like the world is closing in, but I promise you, in the long run, failure is your greatest teacher. Now that you know failure isn't something to fear, let's talk about how you can actually use it to grow. The first step, embrace it. I know, and that sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. Most people avoid failure like it's a disease. They play it safe by staying in their comfort zones. But growth, that doesn't happen there. Growth happens when you step out, fail, and learn. Think about it. When you first learned how to ride a bike, did you get it right the first time? Of course not. You fell. You scraped your knee. But that didn't stop you, did it? You got up. You tried again. The same thing applies to your dreams. If you want to succeed, you have to be willing to fail first. In fact, failure gives you something valuable. Feedback. Feedback that guides you. Feedback that helps you make smarter decisions. Here's a powerful truth from psychology. People who view failure as a learning opportunity are more likely to bounce back faster and stronger than those who see it as a personal flaw. You see, it's all about your mindset. If you believe failure means you're not enough, it will break you. But if you see it as a lesson, as part of the process, that's when everything changes. Now, I'm not saying failure is easy. It's hard. It's painful. Sometimes it feels like you're walking through fire. But here's the truth. The greater the obstacle, the greater the reward. The more you fail, the stronger you become. The people who make it, the ones who create real impact, are the ones who fall and rise again and again and again. They don't quit. They don't give up. They keep going, no matter how many times they fail. And you can be one of them. By now, you know that failure isn't the enemy. But how do you actually bounce back from it and turn it into something positive? Here are 3 powerful steps that will help you shift your perspective and take control of your journey. Step 1, redefine failure. Stop seeing failure as a dead end. Instead, think of it as a stepping stone, a lesson. Every time you fail, you're one step closer to growth. Start with one simple question after every failure. What can I learn from this? That question alone shifts your mindset from defeat to discovery. Step 2, own it, but don't shame yourself. It's easy to blame yourself when things go wrong, but there's a big difference between taking responsibility and tearing yourself down. Own your actions, yes, but remember, you're human. Mistakes are part of the process. When you stop blaming and start accepting, something powerful happens. You stop feeling helpless and you start feeling in control, because now you can grow. You can change. You can move forward. Step 3, take small, consistent steps. After failure, most people try to fix everything at once. They rush, they panic, they try to catch up, and that only leads to burnout and more failure. Instead, slow down. Take small, consistent steps. Celebrate the small wins. Seriously, each little step you take, that's progress. Each mistake, just another adjustment on the path. Psychology shows that small wins create momentum, and momentum builds confidence. And confidence, that's what keeps you moving forward. With these steps, failure stops being the end and starts becoming your launch pad. Remember this, you're not falling behind, you're learning, and you're becoming. Now let's take a moment and look ahead. What do you want your life to look like? Not tomorrow, not next week, but 1 year from now, 5 years from now. Can you see it? The person you've become, the success you've achieved, the growth that came from every failure you faced. That future, it's within your reach, but you won't get there by playing it safe. You won't get there by avoiding failure. Success isn't about never falling, it's about rising every time you do. And here's something most people never realize. Your failures are what will make you strong enough to handle your success. Because if you don't face challenges now, you won't be prepared for the bigger ones later. So take action today. Embrace failure, learn from it, and keep moving forward. This moment, this is your turning point. Your future won't be defined by how many times you fall. It'll be defined by how many times you rise, by how many times you choose to keep going. The only way to fail for good is to give up. And you're not giving up, are you? Because you're stronger than you think. Subscribe to become a better version of yourself. And if you are ambitious but lazy, watch this video.